We chose to.
We chose.
We talked to a bunch of. We decided to talk to a bunch of either tourists or people of the island, and we chose.
We spoke mostly to locals, either to Tybee or to Savannah, who were out on the island that day, and we went to.
We started at the lighthouse.
Okay, we met this guy. He was a student, 12th grade, and he was from...
He's into 3D animation, sculpture, and will either go to agricultural school or...
He was working in community service, painting some wooden pegs, like to mark off a median, like in a parking lot by the lighthouse. So we just went up to him and spoke to him, and
we actually kind of scared him a little bit,
but he was nice to us, and he gave us quite interesting facts, and he told us you can go to Tybee kayaking, and he would, if he would get a chance, he would go there and have a campfire and just sit there on the island. And
then we went into the gift shop there at the lighthouse, and we talked to.
We spoke to two of the people who were working there. There was Mark and Aubrey. They were one like 40-ish-year-old man, and the woman was like probably like 80-something, right? Yeah. And we spoke to them about the lighthouse. So basically, they just told us to go to the pier to talk to people. So when we went outside, we met this cab driver.
This cab driver who was actually also known as the taxi writer. He is a published author on Amazon.com. Loves to carry his portfolio around with him. He was nice enough to show it to us, and we learned quite a bit about him. He was in jail. He had a lot of pictures with Lisa from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. He was wearing his VIP badge. His wife is a hairdresser. He was a student at Savannah State. The mayor was his professor and failed him in that class. But then once he was a published author, the mayor called him and asked for 7 books. He was a taxi driver for 7 years. He's been in Savannah for the past 50 years, off and on. He always had...
okay. He's written books on slavery. He has already had like 2 books out, and he's working on the 3rd one. He also has Army badge, right? Special Force badge. But he said they taught him to kill but not to save. So we found that quite interesting, and there might be a story behind that. Who knows? He knew a lot about cooking, because he loves to cook, and yeah, the license plate, it said better than most, and he was like, yeah, I try to be. And we asked him for one advice. He said, be real, be true to yourself and to others, and treat your friends like you would want them to treat you. So moving on from there, we went to the pier. We met this guy over there. First we thought he's a lifeguard, since he was sitting at the lifeguard stand. So we went to him, and he was playing the flute. And he was like, do you think people really have time to talk to you? But then, we asked him, can we talk to you for free? And he's like, just pile on. So he was good. He just pile on.
Pile on. Okay.
And yeah, he knew a lot about history. Yeah, he was previously from Canada.
No, he said he moved he was from Princeton, New Jersey, and he lived in California.
He came to Savannah to be a surfer.
Or he is a surfer.
He doesn't look like a surfer. He looks like the guy from The Hangover.
And he had those white.
He was wearing leggings with like a fleece jacket. Did not look like a surfer type. But,
he loved birds.
Yeah, he was.
He'd stuff the pigeons inside his shirt.
He got up to 3 to use his record.
Yeah, he was telling us that he likes feeding
the birds.
Yeah, he likes feeding the birds there, and there's, you know, just the little blackbirds that you see around, and he really likes those. He knows, like, the difference between the males and the females, and he, like, knew a lot about them. And then he was saying how pigeons are really dumb, and he likes to feed them. They come in his hand. He, like, they're standing on his hand eating the food here. He grabs their feet, puts down their wings, and then just shoves them in his jacket.
He leaves them in there for about 20 minutes, and he said that his record is getting 3 in there. And then he'll just open up his jacket, and they'll just, like, stand there for a minute, and then they'll fly out. He said he's never ever told anybody that story. He told that to us.
That's a hidden talent.
Yeah, but he's got a website called SavannahLute.com. He plays lute at like weddings and stuff, and I've actually seen him at some of the squares and outside Gallery Espresso playing like an old style lute. And he also had like this, what do you call it, a Pratten flute, this old style flute that he was playing. That's why we went up to him because he was playing the flute. And when we asked him advice, we asked for his advice, and he said save string.
Save string.
Save string.
He said he's been around the sun 57 times.
Yeah.
To save string.
Yeah. Save string.
String.
You could always use some string.
String.
Yeah.
So.
Did you guys tell him that he could really be a wedding type thing, with the flute?
Wait, he does. He does it. That's what his website.
He should bring his own doves.
Open up his jacket, just fly in.
So at each location that we went to, we took pictures of we took some pictures of the people, but then we took pictures of objects where we found them. So for the first kid, we took a picture of the post that he was painting, and then we turned them into postcards, and we addressed them to the people where we found them. So this one says Cyrus, Lighthouse Parking Lot, Tybee Island. And then we put a quote that we found interesting from him. So his says, if you can get a kayak, go to Little Tybee, because that's where he told us to go.
Okay.
And then for our taxi driver, his name was Robert. Of course, Lighthouse Visitor Center. His thought was they taught me how to take a life, but not how to skateboard. So I thought that was worth writing,
And then these were the lifeguard stands that we saw Chris, the lute player, at. So lifeguard stands, Tybee Island, Georgia, and on the back we put safe string because we thought that was a really interesting thing to say for advice.
And this was Mark and Aubrey. They said go to the pier. That's the lighthouse.
Thank you. It's great.
And
From these, we really like the advice, save string. So we have this entire thing. We have connected all these to a string, and these are like communication. So.
Well, he also said this thing about all the songs that he plays on these old instruments that have all this history, right? He likes finding out the history behind the songs, and he said something about pulling on the thread and unraveling the history. So we kind of used the string and unraveling the history, pulling on the thread as a way to string together all of the stories that we got from the day.
yeah.
And the cups came in with, like, we were thinking about communication in the string and putting the, 2 cups together with string and doing like the telephone thing.
And then when you connect them all together, it builds up the lighthouse. And the lighthouse is the icon of Tybee. So when you stack them all together, it builds the actual lighthouse. And each cup has like a different fact about the person that we met.
Awesome job, guys. What do you guys think? Very impressed. So fantastic. All right, can't wait to see what's coming next.